So let's go ahead and peel back a couple layers of an onion and actually probably just starting with just the top because if we go any deeper, it's not going to really make any sense. So never allow anyone, the media, a friend, and even as I am one, never allow a realtor to tell you if it's a good time to buy or sell. What you want to allow for to happen is to let the information, the stats, the figures. So that would be maybe knowing the market time. So when somebody says, "What should I do? Should we go over? Should we go? How should we present our offer here?" You want to say like, "Well, look, we've seen 10 homes, and in that last 10 homes, 9 of them have gone over asking. Here's that information. Here's where the market's at. I've pulled other comps similar, maybe a little inside, a little bit outside, a little bit, touching." Of what that looks like. So, of course, if there's somebody who had to expand their criteria a bit, you are also within that. And also, if somebody had to decrease it, you know how you stand because, of course, if somebody was like, "I can go an extra 25,000 now that's putting you at a disadvantage. Possibly, you're not competing against the exact same thing all the time. But if you could start to learn where that lands, and you're like, "Hey, it's been on the market for 40 days. Other homes, other properties have been on the market for 60 days." And every deal is coming in 10,000 under, you don't need to go over most likely. But now if there's something particular about that property, you may want to, right? So again, if you've been on the search, you know the value to yourself and you don't want to have to go over on that. But one of my recent stats that I ran is, so on one of my searches, I work with a lot of multifamily buyers, and somebody said, "Hey, I've been seeing some more come to the market." There has been, but here's the thing. A lot of agents do this thing where it's a relist, and what they're going to do is basically copy clone, and you think it's brand new then. So when it hits your search, if you didn't really remember it, or maybe it's a little bit dated, you're like, "Oh, it's a new property." It's not a new property. You want to look at the market time. Market time is what really tells the story. Of course, you're going to look at certain things. Were there price reductions? Did anything change? Did the seller make a modification that enhanced it actually? I've seen places where they've been on the market for a while and they, installed a new roof. Well, that's fantastic, but if you don't look at the details and the fine print, you're not going to notice there's a new roof, and you're not going to understand how this is impacting your value. So one of my stats actually that I pulled up, like I said, people were asking or my client was asking, "Is it a good time?" And I said, "Well, here's some information." So within this person search, remember, this is only a particular individual, is that there's 79 and a half market days, or days on market. And what that means is that we're over 2 months on his average search for market time. Okay. Now, again, that's going to have a variety of individuals. There's some properties that have been 100 plus days, some that are a couple days, right? New within a couple days. Great. But again, then what's happening? All those new properties, all the ones that have sat and have people eyeing those properties, are just waiting for that first one to come up. And if it's good, they're going to strike at it. There's going to be offers. If it's not great or positioned well or marketed well, it's going to start to sit. And then you're going to get the 7 days. Then you're going to get the 14 days. Then you're going to get the 30 days. Then you're going to get the 90 days, right? So you always want to be cognizant of that. Something that I noticed here then too, and I run a whole bunch of things, but for this person, it's a couple things. Well, like I said, so with that first week, there's 9 properties. So that's out of, I think it was 98 properties. So 10% of the properties are new. So that means all those people, all those eyes are still on those. You also have to look at when they were listed. Was it on early in the week? Was it end of the week? Did it get end of the week and people didn't notice it and then they couldn't get out to go to a showing over the weekend? So when did people start to see it, and then did that make it stale? And then you get the 30-day people. Now remember, we've had Labor Day and then we've had other things go on. When did they post exactly? And did they miss that first initial batch? Or did they strike well and it just didn't do well? And you have to look through the property to see. You have to look at the price. You have to look at other conditions, other criteria. How is it faring with other properties at that time? Because what else comes out at that time when you list is actually going to somewhat determine how you do. Because you could have the greatest listing in the world, but if 10 other greatest listings come up at the same time, it's going to be a struggle. That I don't have an exact answer for you as a watcher of this, but it does mean that you have to take a lot into consideration. There are a lot of factors that go into this. And as I said, we're peeling a lot of layers of onion because you could be somebody brand new on the search and you haven't seen much. You could be somebody who's been doing this for years. You could have bought and sold several times. Your risk tolerance, your ability to process an environment, or what you're in currently. If somebody's like, Dan, I cannot, if they're looking to buy a condo, let's just say, I cannot afford another month's worth of my rent, because maybe they had to rent something and it pushed them too far. And they're like, I need to get something else, but I can't even afford another rent place. So you're probably saying, well, then how is it going to be cheaper to own? You'd be surprised. There's ways around it. There's ways with the down payment. There's ways to finagle things. There's grants out. There's stuff that helps owners. And as the market changes, what happens if these investment properties they can't afford them anymore, or as many people can't afford them, and the prices stay high? That means rents go up, because now they have to offset a variety of things. There's a lot that goes into that. But if the rates continue to go down, homeowners or first-time buyers that have been renting because they know their option may end up buying, or they've been waiting, and then those rents go down, now those prices will have to go down on those other investment properties. So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces here. I'm really, I'm looking, it's exciting because everybody has their own position. That's why I don't worry when somebody's like, is it a good market, is it a bad market? It's only what it is for you. So don't worry about things. See how you're positioned. If you're selling, if you're buying, if you're looking for investment property, your first-time home buyer, whatever it is, let's see how this fits for you. And then let's start to walk and explain what that really looks like, because again, every person is going to be different and it's going to be unique to you. Most importantly, remember, past clients, you guys know this, patience pays dividends, but actions get results.